What's good? We are live. Welcome back to another Speed Lab where we review people's film that they submit to help them get faster, jump further, more explosive, all of those things. Today we have two people to review film from, David and Will. I know David is interested in waiting until we can speak together on live to go over his film, so I will wait until David lets me know he's here. But maybe we'll start with Will. So let's see. Oh, David's here. What's up, David? Okay, how's it going? So let's just recap for David what we went over the first session. So David says, "Hello, this is my top speed work." Oh yes, I remember. Says he has a tendency to land, strike the ground in front of his body, which is a braking motion. Force landing on your toes, which is a brake as well, and shoulders sitting back. I need shoulders down and going down the track. Okay. It's going great. Good, David. Glad you're here too. Let's go over your film. Okay. Your most recent submissions. Let me read what you wrote. So David's a sophomore, started running in the 8th grade. So got about 2 years under his belt. 1170 300-meter dash. If I had to guess, David, your goal is to go sub 11, huh? And 2418 200 going into junior year. Okay. Oops. All right. Let's do it, David. So, how'd you share this with me? This one's first. I see. Okay. So let's see what we can find out, David. I'll do my best to help give you some instruction as far as what you can do moving forward here. And here we go. Now, you guys, does vertical look better? Some recordings are a little bad, but it's okay. More is better, and we'll determine if we should just skip a recording to move on to the next one. Okay. So Dave's doing block starts here. Okay, so there's some stuff in your blocks, David, that I would personally change. And that will be, we'll do it in this color. Okay, your shoulders are sitting back here, right? If you could see that. And I can't see it, but I already know that this leg is sitting back on the heel as well. Okay. And when we do block starts, we need the shoulders to come over the hands, right? And what you'll see is when you come up to set, your shoulders are going to be over this line. But we don't want to wait to come to set to have that happen. Inside of the blocks, when we're still down, we want to already be with our shoulders. Watch your shoulders shift forward when you come to set. We already want our shoulders in this position. Okay. Or even straight up and down is fine as well. So, I have a block start checklist. If you haven't seen that, watch it, because maybe we'll look at the other videos to see if we can see what you're like on the pedals, and see how that looks. Okay. But you don't want this, right? When you come to set, the only thing that's supposed to move are your hips. Your hips are the only thing that are supposed to come straight up. But look at your shoulders shift forward. And this is a good position. So ultimately, you do get into a good position, but understood. I will check that out. Is it in Classroom? Is it in the Speed Lab Classroom? Let's look. No, I need to put it in the Classroom. It's on my YouTube channel. I have the drive phase class, but I'll share that with you, David. I'll share the block start checklist with you. So just send me a message on school so that I don't forget to do that, because I will forget to do that. But that's going to help shift your shoulders forward. Yeah, no problem. Is this your team that you're practicing with in the background? And I'm assuming you guys have a coach. Okay. No, this was during the meet before. Okay, so those are not your teammates. Everybody's getting ready. Okay, I got you. I feel like your angle is a little low as well, right? I like the way that you push off here. I am not, you know. Do you feel like you're falling onto like you're falling in the beginning sometimes? Okay. So here's an easy fix for you. Okay. So you're in a good position here. And from time to time, not always. Oh yeah, that's okay. We're going to look at some other videos too. David, this is just the first one. But I just feel like this. A simple change, okay, that I would require you to make, no matter if your form looked picture perfect or not, is okay. Your eyes are straight down at the track. This is why I asked if it feels like you're falling into the track. I believe this is why, in my opinion, you know what? Maybe I was too zoomed in. This looks okay. I don't know, but so what I would like to see. Okay, the eyes look straight down. What I would like to see is that they look 5 to 10 meters ahead of you. This will put you in a better position pushing the track, pushing down the track, as opposed to right. So I know what I would like to say. Sorry, it took me a little while to understand what I wanted to say. It took me a little while to figure out why this was weird. Okay, so you're a little bit low in your angle, right here. A better angle would be up here. And the reason why, this is not something that you need to actively think about, David, while you're doing your reps in practice. Very simple fix is, as I kind of briefly said, but didn't end up finishing, is to get your eyes from looking actually like our body will follow our eyes always. So sprinting, jumping, driving, walking, your body's going to follow your eyes. And yeah, David says, so fix my angle to be a little bit higher and looking down the track. That would be helpful. Yes. All you need to do to fix this problem, rather than like conceptually think about it like we're going over it in very much detail right now, but when you're sprinting, you don't do that. All you want to do is shift your eyes from looking straight down to looking down the track that way, right? So a great marker in the 100 is the triangles for the exchange zone, for the relay exchange zone. They're going to be 10 meters down the track. when I'm in the set position, I'm here. And then as soon as the gun goes off, I look through my eyebrow at those triangles down the track, and I keep my gaze 10 meters down the track. Okay. And I'll explain why this matters right now, actually. Helios, how do I send my film? Click the link in the description, and it'll take you to this page. 1 second, David. It'll take you here, and you can submit your film here. Okay. Helios, you've stopped by before, huh? I feel like I remember that name. But follow the link in the description, and it'll take you to my page where you can submit your film. Okay, David. So just shift your eyes that way, right? And the reason why this is important is because of how this foot, you're just falling onto this foot. Look, it just it waits for the ground, right? When you have a better angle, it will give you time. I'm gonna give you, you got to give a little love, and then you give a little criticism. This is great extension here. When you shift your angle a bit up, it will keep you higher off the ground, and then you'll be able to oh, didn't mean to do that. Okay, this foot that you're just falling on, it has to come back and attack the track, right? So instead of it landing like that, it should actually land further back like this. But because of the low angle that you're at, you don't have time to do that. You don't have time to fire this hamstring, right? Because this is how it happens. This hamstring fires and snaps the foot back down this way. And right now you're just landing flat. This is kind of killing your momentum. You're basically restarting the race from here because you're so low, right, David? Yeah, I feel like I noticed I don't push myself forward out of the block and then attack the track. I feel I don't attack but land, like you said. Yeah. Okay. So that was a lot of instruction and a lot of if we were in person and we were at a meet, I would hold all this instruction and wait until practice to give you this much feedback. Inside of the meet, all I want you to do is to shift your eyes from here to out there, and it will help fix a lot of the things, right? And this just takes practice. Avoiding landing flat on that foot and instead driving it back under you, that takes practice. It's a skill. Okay. That will help improve your start a lot. So if you're if you can manage this and understand how to do this, your 11.7 could easily be 11.3, because this also sets up good patterns for down the track. I'll keep note of that for my practices because I think it will help over time as I get. Yeah, for sure. Definitely. You get more coordinated. You feel the rhythm. It takes to manipulate your body in this much detail while you're trying to sprint at 100%. It takes a lot of skill, man. It takes a lot of time of sprinting before at some point you can make the decision to sprint and still get full extension and then snap that leg back under you. That takes a lot of time. There are people who do it naturally, and then there are people who do not do it naturally. And everybody, it's just a skill, and skills just take time. Helios. Thanks, Helios. I hope you join so we can view some of your footage too. Okay. Or similar angle. Let's see. So you do it once, that's just an observation. You do it twice, it's a pattern. Okay. This is very obvious with how far back your shoulders are. This is more back than the other one, which means you're sitting back in the blocks. Look at the change of your shoulders. Okay. From there to there. So that needs to be fixed. And like I said, I'll give you the BlockStart checklist, which hopefully will help you fix that. Oh, you attacked back a little better there. That one was a little better. Still a little flat in front of you, but that was a little better. So David, coach or again, shoulders back. Oh, this is better view of the blocks. Yeah, so David, when I send you the checklist, okay, you're going to notice that I make, okay, let me see something first actually. Yeah. Totally. Once again, this leg, that's the back leg, is sitting at this angle, same as your shoulders. It's going to be the same angle as your shoulders. And what I'm asking you to do is to make that leg also parallel, straight up and down. The BlockStart checklist will help you with that a lot. Okay, that foot, look at how much space is off that pedal. It needs to be, I guess, when you come to set, needs to be flat against that pedal, much like your front one is. Right? That will help also shift you in a better position. Right now, the angle of your foot is going to send you down, keep you low. Once you place that foot all the way against that pedal, it'll shift you in a better position. I do like this one more, though, more than the other two. Yeah. Okay. Then we have, this is also you. Yeah. I'll keep that noted. Okay. I also think this will help a lot, as my coaches don't really help me get better because they kind of just tell me to go faster. Yeah. You know, when you start to get to like, and I think you can improve, 11.7 wouldn't surprise me if by senior year you should get to 11.1, hopefully 10.9. That would be a big goal for you. That would require, if you're interested in breaking 11, David, it's from what I've seen, it's probably possible. I have to look at more though, for sure. But it's going to also require you to kind of change a lot about how committed and dedicated you are to the sport. I don't know right now how committed or dedicated you are. I just know what it takes to run sub 11. And yeah. Yeah. When you start to get fast, it's difficult for many coaches to figure out what to teach. How do you coach someone who runs 9.8? What do you tell them? You know, how do you coach someone who runs 10.0? What do you tell them? How do you coach somebody who runs 10.5, 10.7? It's obvious when you run 16 seconds in the 100, there's probably a lot of things that can happen to help make you faster. But once you start to break 12 and get to the 11.40s, 11.30s, 11.20s, 10.90s, 10.60s, what do you then coach your athlete to do? That's the question. 200. This was off the 200-meter start for a relay. Okay, let's see. Yeah. Yes. Okay. How do they figure out what to fix? Asks ABC. So a lot of it is experience and your coaching ability. There's athletes where your job as a coach is not so much the X's and O's, is not so much the form and technique of things. It's more of the psychological piece of the puzzle, piece of the game, finding those small details like that hamstring firing back under you. That's the stuff that like Noah Lyles works on, right? So those are elite level tips, like, you know, and then if I try to tell my like high school athletes the same thing, just because, not because they're not fast, but because they're not professional runners, they're going to be like, how do I fire my hamstring to drive my foot back under my hips? Like, that's really difficult to do. But things like that, you have to know, you know, again, for myself, I'm learning from more coaches that are better than I am. Right. And they learn from coaches who used to be better than they were. So, you know, there's a lot that goes into figuring out what to fix when you have like elite level runners. But at that point, they do become obsessed with every step. Right? There's 46 steps, 47 steps in the 100. My job is to make them every step perfect. But perfect meaning based on my physiology and psychology and biology and chemistry, because it changes for every person. That's part of the job too. How is this athlete similar or different to my previous athletes? What do they need? What might they not need? You know, like training gout the same way that you train Noah Lyles might be a mistake, right? Because they're just two different runners, different makeups, that kind of thing. David said, I pretty much never trained for track outside of the season for freshman year and sophomore year, but deciding this year. Yeah. Yeah, I just made a video about that. You know, it's always like meet number 3 that people come to me, or they have 3 meets left in the season and they're like, hey, help me get better. And a part of the process is the process. It is the time you have to spend learning how to sprint. And that's a big piece of the puzzle. Being consistent, having 12, 15 meets in a season as opposed to 4 meets, 5 meets in a season, training in 90-day cycles instead of training in 4-week cycles, right? That's a big piece of the puzzle. So David, you know, you just kind of decided to take this serious. And fortunately for you, when you're a junior and senior in high school, you should be faster just because you're growing, right? So no problem, ABC. I hope that was clear. You know, like part of it, like especially for high schoolers, you know, it's easy to say I helped make this kid fast, but it's like he's 17 now or 18 now. He came into high school when he was 14. They better be faster. You know, it's like you don't have to do anything and they'll get faster. But there are things you can do to make them even faster than they otherwise would be. So, okay, a lot of talking. Let's look. All right, David. This start is exactly how I would expect it to look, David. And you're very low, and then all of a sudden you just pop straight up.
I don't really know.
Yeah, okay, so much more clear angle. Okay, that back foot is kind of against that back pedal. You know, this is not horrible. Not horrible. You end up getting into a good position when you come to set, but I'd still like to see you improve your block starts with the block start checklist. The only thing I'm worried outside of training is during football season, I don't know how to balance that, or would I have to wait until winter to properly train again? So very familiar with the football track dynamic because of my past. And when you're in football season, do football. When you're in track season, do track. Okay. What position do you play? Yeah, you spelled it FOOT. I'm assuming you mean American football and not football. Okay, too low. We already talked about how to fix your angle. If you see here too, David, your eyes are straight down. Straight down. If you get them out, it'll help change a lot of things for you. Then you drive for you're picking up good speed. Like once you actually get in this is a better position. Right? Should be your drive position. Let's just hold that there. I mean, maybe a little low still, but actually not bad. Look pretty similar, I'm not going to lie. But it's definitely too low. Eyes up. Now your drive phase was the reason. Look at this third step here. So 1, 2, nice and open. 3, almost a crack. Was that 3? Let me see.
I don't really know.
Oops. Yeah. It's not bad. But it's not bad, but a lot can be improved. Okay, you already started standing up. You forgot about your drive phase. There's a drive phase still in the 200 and the 400. Okay, and you're standing up. We'll call it 7 meters down the track. You've already stood up and got into your regular sprint form, which looks pretty good. Looks pretty good. Yeah, sometimes the simple answer is the best answer, and in this case, just keep your eyes up. Stop staring straight down at the ground. David plays cornerback, safety, wide receiver, slot. Yeah. Football is great for track. They're so similar, right? You run a play, you get a rest. You run a play, you get a rest. Obviously, the plays are shorter. I don't know, kind of similarly, but the rest is definitely shorter than when you're doing track training. But in track, you run a race, you get a rest. You run a race, you get a rest. The best cornerbacks, safeties, receivers, slot. I mean, the best linemen. Everyone is explosive on the football field. It's an explosive sport. The 100, an explosive event. The 200, explosive event. There's no distance runners playing football, right? Like I say that, like I'm sure there are distance runners who play football, but the body type is just completely different there. The things that you work on in the weight room are going to help track. The extra, running routes, all those things will help. So my advice, especially for high school, and I know how football gets, or like I know how it gets where I'm at, and people, I don't know, they do too much, right? Like football during football, track during track. Understand track. You're developing speed, and speed development is developed in the brain. So when you go to track practice and then you go to 7-on-7 after that, you're undoing a lot of the things that you did at track practice. So just keep them independent. Don't try to do 7-on and like crazy stuff crazy football stuff during track season. And don't lift like a football player during track season. You still lift, but you lift like a track person. And then in football, you lift like a football person. You don't lift like a track person because mass moves mass. And if you're a small person running the 100 meters and then you try to run down the hole in the football, you're going to get smacked. So just keep the sports are very complementary. It's great for avoiding injury too, doing multi-planar sports and then having one that's just, linear. Like, but keep them separate. That would be my advice. What app are you using? Asked Perry. It's called OnForm. 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 It's pretty good. Okay. So we need a dry phase. We need to keep our eyes up. You know what a dry phase is, David? How long is a dry phase? Let's look. Gabby Watermelon says, that's what I'm saying because my parents told me I should do cross country to help me with track, but I do sprints, so it doesn't make sense. No, it doesn't make sense to do cross country and consider yourself a sprinter. First of all, how old are you? Age matters. When you're younger, you can do more. When you're younger, you can be the kid who runs 2 miles, the mile, the 800, the 400, the 200, the 100, the long, and win everything. When you're in high school, you can't do that. Like even the identity of a long distance runner is different than the identity of a sprinter. Those two things will conflict, and I know it doesn't sound like a big thing, but it is a big thing. Not saying that either one is right or wrong. I love all my distance friends and at my college. They're great people and on my teams, and we're still friends and stuff. But just the things that you consider doing for yourself. I'm 14, Gabby says, going to high school. Yeah. I would highly recommend against running cross country if you're looking to improve in the sprints. Different energy systems, different muscle types, right? Muscle fibers, type 1, type 2, fast twitch, slow twitch. But understand that you can't have like 100% fast twitch and 100% slow twitch, right? When you have 80% fast twitch, you have 20% slow twitch. That's me. I can't jog for anything. Like, it's embarrassing. My mile time is embarrassing. But my 100 time is like good enough to earn a scholarship out of college, right? Like, because the fiber types matter so much, right? We used to make fun of the distance kids because they couldn't touch the roof in the locker room, and the roof is 8 feet. They used to make fun of us because we would come in complaining that we ran 6 200s and they ran 16 200s, right? They're different people and require different training. And cross country is great for the 2 mile. I wouldn't even consider cross country great for the mile. But again, in high school, you have a bit more freedom. But in college, you're not going to get away with that. Okay, Gabby. Sorry if I'm talking passionately at you. It's not at you. It's just because the topic itself is brought up sometimes. So I would recommend not to run cross country. I would recommend to get on an indoor track team. Thanks. I'm showing this to my parents right now because I'm focused on speed. Yeah. There's other stuff you can do, right? If they're worried about you having activities to do, like after school, which would be my parents' concern, there's other stuff you can do. There's the track preseason starts in September, right? Like cross country season starts now, but there's training camps, there's summer teams. Joining a summer team would be a much better option for you. Getting a trainer to work on speed stuff will be a much better option for you. Getting doing weight room stuff will be a much better option for you. You're just going to have a conflict if you do cross country and sprints, and it won't be one that you will enjoy. Yeah. All right. Great question, Gabby. And there's more that I want to say, but if you have more questions, just ask me. Get back to David. I don't know too much about phases, so I won't try and guess. I'm sure I need to learn this right now. Yeah, you do. What lane are you in? Did you tell me in the thing? No, you didn't tell me. Okay. So, David, what lane are you in here? Let's see if we can still there. Let's see if we can find you. Oh, I think I see you. I feel like this is David. I could see the block start and the position he's in the shoes. Yeah. Okay, that's got to be David. Fourth lane. I know I'm like left to the reft in the white jersey. Yep. There you go. I could see it from the block start there, young man. Okay. Again, good extension off those blocks. Eyes straight down. Look at everybody in your race. Eyes are straight down. Except for he looks like his eyes are actually out a bit. Yeah. Landing a bit in front of the body. Again, we talked about driving that foot back under you by snapping the hamstring. It's a skill that can be developed, although it will take time. I think the guy with his eyes out a bit was an 11-3 runner. I'm not too sure on that. Yeah, I was just looking at him in comparison. His blocks are worse than yours. We're looking at this guy here. His blocks are worse than yours. But as soon as the gun goes off, he's out here with his eyes. You're down here. He's down here. This kid's down here. Okay. Definitely a worse block position than you are. But look at his also look at this foot here. If you can see that. I know it's a little grainy here. This foot is about to drive back this way. Watch. Oh, you can't see it with all the drawings on there. There's clear. Okay. He steps down. Boom. Look at where it hits. Look at where it hits in relation to his hips. This is his foot. These are his hips. Right? And then look at yours, David. You hit like right about here is where your toe is at. And then your hips are back here. Okay. Yeah, for sure. His foot attacks way more clearly. Yep. Yep. And again, it's a skill. It's a skill that you can develop, but it's also a skill that some people have naturally. So this kid might not know anything that he's doing. Yep. We already went over that. That's right. It's helpful to have someone in your race that you can see the clear difference with and know that they ran a bit faster than you, right? Every step he's taking is coming back down. Every step you're taking is nice and open, but you're then waiting for the ground and hitting in front of you, right? But don't lose your push. The challenge here is to find the balance between being extremely open and then this is sprinting. Expansion and contraction, and you expand nicely but don't contract nicely. And I would say actually majority of the people I see, they contract and stay contracted and their expansion looks like this, and this is how they try to sprint. And as you can imagine, they look tight, they don't get fully expanded through their hips, So they have small steps, you know. Looks like you're keeping up with that guy. The guy next to you looks like he. Okay, so you drove for about 10 meters, right? This is about 10 meters here. And you need to still be in your drive phase. If you look at the guy next to you, hard to see. This guy here, he's driving still. And again, hard to see. It looks like he's still driving. And that's probably 20 meters. That's probably 50. That's probably 15, 16. That's probably 20 meters down the track. He's still driving. You've stood up. Right? He stood up. He stood up. He stood up. And the person in the lead is still driving, which also means further down the track, he's going to have more power than you. Yeah, the one thing my coaches did talk to me about was I look very relaxed when I run, but I still have plenty of problems that you have addressed along. Yep. Relaxed is another piece of the puzzle that's almost more difficult to coach. Teaching someone how to be relaxed while they sprint, because it's contradictory to try to sprint. Right, sprinting is max effort, although you should know how to sprint properly at 80%, 70%, 75%. But most people consider it a max effort thing, and it's hard for people to conceptualize. It's hard for people to understand what max speed but relaxed is, and you have that, which is good. That kid was on Notre Dame's team, a team at the meet. I think. Oh, I know Notre Dame. You live? Is this in California? I think the kid next to me was running 11-1 as his PR. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So I'm going to send you the BlockStar checklist. You're going to understand and begin to learn what driving for 30 meters means, a drive phase for 30 meters. And you're going to keep your eyes out at the track, 10 meters ahead of you in drive phase instead of straight down. Okay? Those are the things that I need to see from you. It's an academy. Oh, Green Bay, Wisconsin. I do know there's a lot. Okay. Yeah, there's a high school. Obviously, there's the college, but there's a high school in my area. Not in my area, in my state, called Notre Dame, and they're pretty good. Okay. Gabby asks, if I run like a 15 in the 100, I'm trash. What should I aim to improve next year? Gabby, do you have film? You run a 15 and you're 14 years old. You're going into high school. No, sadly. Do you do the 200 or the 400 or even the 800? What are your times if you do? I don't know that you're trash, Gabby. I have to see you do stuff and just figure out where your strengths lie. I only did 1 year. I did the 200 before. Okay. So also if you're new, then you haven't, a lot of track is figuring out what you're good at. Yeah. Thank you, David. That's helpful. Just try recording with your phone during practices or get a friend to. I usually ask a friend to record with my phone. Hopefully that helps. Yep. Getting good film. I can tell a lot from film. Like, it's definitely not as good as being in person, but I can help so many more people this way. All right. In person, I'm very limited. But film helps a lot. My 100 PR, Gabby says, is 15:06, and my 200 is 32:33. Okay. 32. Yeah, I mean, that's what I would expect, I guess, with a 1506. Yeah, I would have to see you. Yeah, film yourself when you can, and as long as your parents are also okay with it, submit it, and we can try to help you. And a lot of track, like I was saying, is figuring out what events you will excel at the most. Everyone wants to run the 100. Everyone wants to do the long jump. Nobody wants to run the 400. Nobody wants to run the 800. Everybody wants to run the mile. There's things nobody wants to really like pole vault, but there's a lot of events, and the 100 is unique even more than any of the other events. So just figuring out where you belong in your event is helpful. But you're new and you're just learning, and you already have a good idea, Gabby, as far as you feel like cross country isn't that helpful for sprints, which it is not. It's like a different sport. And we'll help you get you there. I did the 800 and I ran 327, but the coach never. Okay. Yeah, 327. Yeah. Yeah, just take some film of yourself, okay? When you get a chance. And then submit it to me. Use the link in the description to submit it to me when you get a chance, okay? And I'll do my best to help you out. Okay, one more. David, I hope that was helpful. I hope they gave you clear guidance on what to do. And you still have a lot of time left. Well, I mean, 2 years left. 2 years goes by very quickly, but you have time left to develop. So, enjoy football season. Come back ready to run. Yeah. And the advice I give is maybe not for everyone. Some people prefer to do multiple. I've just seen injuries. I've seen non-improvements. I've seen burnout from, honestly, parents making their kids do too many things. And especially now, when I was playing football, there wasn't like 7-on-7 wasn't like a crazy deal, and all this stuff. But I was very clearly a track person, so that helps. But yeah, okay. Let's see. Will wanted to see if I can get some input on my son. He ran his first 200 today and 100. Just turned 13. Really got into the sport. So Will and his son are new. He wants to know what I think about his form. He feels like he's reaching a bit. His chest is too far out. We're going to go over that in a second. 100, he's in lane 3. His PR is 12:46, and the 100 is 200 PR is 25:56 in the 100. So they're I already gave Will some feedback, and let's go over his film real fast and see if I see. Gabby says, I know I'm not going to be a pro. I just like doing it. That's fine. Everybody has different goals, and you see my little dog back there. Oh, you can't see it on the short, on the full screen. My dog just popped in the door. You don't have to go pro, Gabby. There's so many life lessons in this sport that's going to be great for you to learn, and having something to do in high school as far as the sport is concerned, I think it's going to be very good for you. I am of the opinion that you should continue sprinting, but I'm biased, right? I also feel like you should share video, and but again, that's it's definitely a bias of mine. And we'll do what we can. Let's see. Your PR is 15. If we can get you to you're going to be a freshman in high school, I mean, if you can run 14.2 next year, then 13.8 the year after that, and then 13.3, and then 12.7. Right, I think that would be a great journey for you, and you might kill that, and you might run much faster than that, and then have to set new goals. But track is very much a you versus you kind of sport. It's non-contact. It's you have people lining up next to you, but ultimately your own brain and your own body determines whether you do what you practiced or you get nervous and you don't do what you practice. Yeah, Gabby says my first meet I ran a 33.82 in the 200, so there was some improvement. Yeah, you're definitely, you should continue to improve, and that's all you can ask for, and understand that the faster you get, the harder it is to improve. You have to do more. Thank you. Because my wife closed the door for me. You have to do more. You have to be more dedicated, but all of these things are again, great life lessons to achieving goals. It's like the closer you get or the better you get, the more you have to give of yourself to your goal, the more you have to buy in to reach it. And so I love that about this sport, about sports in general. Thank you for all the advice. I'll reflect on it, but I have to go now. All right, David. Thanks for stopping by, man. Take more film and share it with me when you can. And good luck. All right, we have 2 more. Let's see if we can do this. Will. Right? Will. Yes. See you, David. You got people saying bye in the chat. All right. So Will's son is in lane 3. Let's see here. What does the start look like? This is what we're looking at. Lane 3. Oh, yeah.
Come on, Xavier! Come on, Xavier! Come on, Xavier!
Okay, well, your son has a nice natural stride. Oh, I didn't show it on here. Sorry, everyone. All right, let's try again. We can go this way for this one. Little landscapey. Landscape or vertical? Everyone's on their phone. Let's go vertical. Okay. I'm sorry, everyone. I didn't show you this. Okay, we're at lane 3 here. All right, we're going to watch. I'll let everyone watch again so we can understand what we're looking at, and then I'll go over it.
Come on, Xavier!
All right. So, again, this is Will's son. Wilson. This is Will's son, and that's who we're giving feedback to right now. So automatically in the start of this, Will, you can see that your son pops up out of the blocks, just as I was telling David here. Right. Pretty much right away. So no dry phase. If you look at the person next to him, he's still in dry phase. Person over here, dry phase. Little bit of a dry phase. Dry phase. Okay. And that's 2 meters out of the blocks. I know you guys are new. I'm going to review this the same way I review every video with the understanding and with the context that you guys are new. So, you may not even know. You might know what a dry phase is, Dad, but your son probably has no idea. So, and that's okay. But I'm just telling you, especially for the 100. I mean, I take it back. 200, 400, everything. If you don't have a dry phase, you're not getting the most out of the race that you can, out of yourself. you're losing time. And our whole goal is to not lose time. Okay. Again, very, very raw style of running here, right? What I mean is not over coached. Decent turnover, great stride length. Yeah. Here goes Will. Excuse me, this is Will's son. He may have shared his name, I forget it. Excuse me, got a little allergies. Okay, again, nice stride length. Decent turnover. At this point in the race, nobody's really doing anything crazy as far as making a lot of moves. So that tells me that, you know, if he learns how to get a good start, he should be maybe not in front, but at least in line with these guys. Okay. Is this a that was like a grown man. Okay. Does that guy now look? Never mind. I'm not going to say anything. Okay. So, you know, a little tight here in the shoulders. Okay. Shoulders are kind of like, come on. Raised up towards the ears. A little tight, fighting. And hitting in front of himself just enough. Excuse me. Just enough to matter. Striking the track in front of his center of mass, in front of his hips. Okay. That's one. I gave Will a lot of feedback already through DM, you know, in school. And this is the 200 lane 5 is who we're watching for. Yeah. The head goes back, the chest comes forward. So what I told Will is that he needs to have his shoulders down. Okay. Chin down as well. Looking again, same thing as David. Like, I want to look 10 meters ahead in the dry phase, and then as I'm coming up, my eyes are fixated on the finish line. I need to be obsessed and possessed about getting to the finish line as fast as possible. This will put my body in a better position. And right now he's definitely leaning back, right? So another tip is run like there's a string pulling you from the top of your head and attaching you through the sky up tall. And he's very much back here. What happened? Lane 3 was out. Lane 2 was out of there. Okay. Same thing. No dry phase, right? So when you don't have a dry phase, the race is going to seem extremely long. When you can incorporate a good dry phase, the race seems much shorter. You don't die out as quick. You're able to hold your top end speed for longer down the track. And once again, we've just popped straight up out of the blocks. I mean, impressive that you can use the blocks here. Yeah. Okay, so maybe one major thing for you, Will. Look at his left leg. It just drags through here. It doesn't step up and over the knee. I'm looking at this knee. Yep. In this leg. It just drags through. There's no front side. I mean, first of all, you're still supposed to be in dry phase, but if you're not in dry phase, you know, ABC says that's actually so true. My 100 used to feel like torture. Yeah, because if you have a dry phase like this in the 100, which is not a dry phase, your top end speed, because you stood up, your top end speed can only come from, we'll call this 5 meters. We'll call it, so at about 40 meters, you will have reached your max speed. So the only other option after that is to slow down. So from 40 meters to 100 meters, that's 60 total meters, you'll be slowing down and you'll be fighting fatigue. When you drive to 30 meters and then transition to upright speed at 40, your top end speed comes between 40 meters and 70 meters. And then you only slow down from 70 meters to 100 meters, which is 30 meters of slowing down. And so you not only reach your max end speed much later in the race, but you slow down less as well. That's why you need to drive. It's true in the 200, it's true in the 400. The beginning of your race sets up the end of your race. When you're patient, open in the beginning of the race, you can be patient and open at the end of the race and not feel like there's someone pulling you down into the track, the track monster, the turf monster, we used to call it. Yeah. Maybe it's easier to see here. I can't really zoom in that much, and it's not the best quality. But we're looking here. Okay, these two are actually fighting it out pretty nicely. That's a nice close race. Nice job. Nice job holding him off. But if you look at the outside athlete who's Will's son, those legs are kind of just dragging through. Whereas the person actually next to him is stepping up and over much more nicely and stepping down on the track. The thing that he's doing wrong is he's also hitting in front of him a little bit. But you got to get those hip flexors, those psoas, the core nice and strong, right? And Will already told me they're brand new. They're just learning. And so this will just come with time. Okay. It will come with time. All right. Well, this is all the film that I've had so far. This is Speed Lab. Let's see. Anybody submit more film? No. Okay, great. So you click the link in the description. You can come to Speed Lab. You can submit your film. Thanks to everyone for being here. ABC, Gabby, David, Perry. I hope that you guys submit film. Helios, get in there, man. Or woman or person. Get in there, submit your film. This is not the first time I've seen you, which means you want to get better. And that's what I'm here for. So thanks for stopping by. I'll see y'all later. Peace.